Vanakkam nண்பர்கள்ஸ். Last week, the major takeaway with relation to advanced science and climate change was the Glasgow Summit, which is also known as COP26 or Conference of Parties 26. The 26 year means that this is the 26th summit with relation to climate change. The first summit happened in Paris. So what are the major takeaways of Glasgow? Glasgow is situated in Scotland, which is in United Kingdom. The Prime Minister of United Kingdom is Boris Johnson. So he was the host this year. The major takeaways were that none of the countries unfortunately agreed for drastic carbon emission cuts, citing reasons of poverty, citing reasons of industrial development hampering. None of them were ready for a drastic reduction in climate change. For a drastic reduction in carbon emissions. What does this mean? This means that by the present scenario, if the carbon emissions from the individual countries goes on like how it was in the past, how it is in the present, then unfortunately our climate change or global warming increase will be up to 2.7 degrees Celsius, which is much ahead, actually 1.2 degrees Celsius ahead of the actual aim of COP26, which was to restrict the temperature decrease from 2.7 degrees Celsius to 1.5 degrees Celsius. And the hard truth for the nations to swallow, for the world to swallow, is that none of the member countries agreed for a drastic reduction in climate change, which is for a drastic reduction in carbon emissions to decrease global warming and the resultant climate change. And another positive takeaway from the Glasgow summit is that previously only carbon dioxide was taken into consideration when climate change is discussed. When global warming was discussed, only carbon dioxide emission cuts, carbon emission cuts with relation to carbon dioxide was taken into consideration. This year, for the first time, the world countries recognized the importance of cutting methane also, along with carbon dioxide, for decreasing the global warming and the after effects of climate change. In 2021, Nobel went to three guys. The first half went to Klaus Hasselmann and Shigeru Manabe. We discussed about their findings and why they are given the Nobel Prize in our last video. The second half went to Giorgio Parisi. He's from Sapienza University, Italy. What is his finding? His finding is that he created a model that can predict, or that could predict, the randomness, the chaos events of the macro level world to the micro level world. This means that his model could predict, or his model is capable of planning the randomness, the chaos in micro level events, like in the atomic scale, to the macro level events, which is the planetary scale. For this finding, he got the Nobel Prize. In this scenario, with this kind of model, we can assess the kind of chaos that climate change, the anthropogenic induced climate change, can do to the world. In our last videos, we have discussed about the butterfly effect of climate change, which is in relation to communicable diseases, in relation to disasters that is going to happen, and also the sea level increase. And another aspect, another problem that might occur due to climate change is that 2/3 of the biodiversity can go extinct. if the temperature increases to 2.7 degrees Celsius. So this is the serious issue, and the reason why this year's Nobel went to scientists who pioneered studies in climate change. Coming to the UGC NET syllabus, in our last video we have discussed about the global warming potential and the gases involved in climate change. Okay, the major gases that we discussed were CH4, CO2, N2O, nitrous oxide, ozone, and CFC, also HCFC. We also discussed about their residence time, and CO2 it is variable, while for CH4 it is 12, methane. So for nitrous oxide it is 120 years, for CFC 11 it is 60 years, for CFC 12 it is 190 years, and for HCFC it is 12 years. So based on this residence time, we can find out the global warming potential, which is a function of the infrared radiation absorbed by the individual gases and the residence time. Methane has a potential of 21. So you might ask me whether this global warming potential has any unit. No, it doesn't have a unit. It is just a ratio between it is a ratio between the infrared absorption, which is, as we have said in our last video, relative instantaneous radiative force, and their residence time in the atmosphere. So the ratio, which is the global warming potential of methane, is 21. For nitrous oxide it is 310. For CFC 11 it is 1700. For CFC 12 it is 3400, and for HCFC for HCFC it is 1600. So this is the global warming potential of the individual gases, and the global warming potential and the residence time of individual gases are of particular importance for NET. Questions may arise directly from this table. Besides the gases that we have discussed in our last videos, there is another three set of gases, which is SF6, hexafluorosulfur, sulfur hexafluoride, C2H6, which is C2F6, which is hexafluoromethane, and CH4. CF4, which is tetrafluoromethane. These three gases can cause global warming, and their global warming potential is very high. But since these gases are very low in amounts, since these gases are found in the atmosphere as trace amounts, they are not of particular concern. They do not come under greenhouse gas category now, but they have the potential to cause widespread temperature increase and damage if their concentrations in the atmosphere increase. So you can just note it down. Okay. So global warming gases, the greenhouse gases, can be confused with air pollutants. Air pollutants are generally recognized under National Ambient Air Quality Standards, which is the ground rule for all the countries. It is brought in by US EPA USML Protection Agency, and all the world's countries take this as the ground rule for assessment of criteria pollutants. And at present, there are 8 criteria pollutants, and they are ozone, ground level ozone, and tropospheric ozone. I would like to underscore the fact that stratospheric ozone is not a pollutant. Tropospheric ozone or ground level ozone is the pollutant. We have discussed the dynamics of ozone in our last videos. Ozone, carbon monoxide. I repeat, carbon monoxide, not carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is not a criteria pollutant. Carbon dioxide is a global warming gas. It is a greenhouse gas. It's not a criteria pollutant. Carbon monoxide is a criteria pollutant. Then SO2, sulfur dioxide, NO2, nitrogen dioxide, PM 2.5, which is particulate matter 2.5, particulate matter 10, PB, it is lead. So how many gases are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm sorry, there is only 7 criteria pollutants. Namely, ground level ozone, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, particulate matter 2.5, particulate matter 10, and lead. Lead here is a heavy metal. So you might think, how can a heavy metal, a solid, become an air pollutant? It is because lead is used in petrol. In petroleum products, it is used. Lead is used. And after realizing the harmful effects of lead, in air. Now there is petroleum which has no lead, which is unleaded petrol. Okay, why is lead used in petrol? It is because when lead is used in petrol, it will prevent anti-knock effect, which we will discuss later. So lead is used in petroleum products, and it is also used in paints. However, after discovering its harmful effects, now there are unleaded paints available, and unleaded petrol is also available now. Unleaded petroleum products are also available now. So these are the criteria pollutants which is of particular concern, and you might confuse this with greenhouse gases. Please don't confuse this with greenhouse gases. We have discussed what is greenhouse gases in our earlier videos. Be crystal clear about the concepts of who and all are greenhouse gases and who and all are air pollutants, criteria pollutants. There is also non-criteria air pollutants, which is non-criteria air pollutants are pesticides, dioxins, and benzenes. As the name indicates, these are non-criteria pollutants, hence of lesser concern. These are the major air pollutants called as criteria pollutants. They are of major concern because their emission levels are high and they are found in atmosphere in copious amounts. Hence, these are the criteria pollutants and these are non-criteria pollutants. We'll discuss further in our next videos about air pollution. And until then, guys, bye. Take care.